I used to believe that getting older meant giving up on movement. Every time I tried to stay active, my knees ached, my back protested, and my body reminded me, I'm not young anymore. I told myself maybe this is just how it is, but deep down I hated it. I hated watching my friends struggle to get out of chairs. I hated feeling stiff every morning, and most of all, I hated the fear creeping in. The fear that one day I wouldn't be able to move at all. I saw it happening to people around me. A friend of mine, James, used to go on long walks every evening. But one day he stopped. I asked him why, and he sighed, my knees just can't take it anymore. Then there was Mary, always full of energy, always the first one on the dance floor at weddings. But last year, she started using a cane, not because she wanted to, but because standing for too long became unbearable. And then there was me. I found myself hesitating before getting out of bed in the morning, worried about the stiffness that had become my new normal. It was like my body was betraying me, and no matter how hard I tried, I couldn't stop it. Then at 72, I found something that changed everything. A simple way to stay active, without pain, without damage, and without feeling like my body was working against me. If you've ever felt frustrated by aching joints, if you miss moving freely, or if you're scared of losing your independence, stay with me. Because what I'm about to share is backed by science, simple to do, and could change your life. And if this resonates with you already, hit the like button, so more people struggling with joint pain can find this too. Let's dive in. The harsh truth about aging and joint pain. A few years ago, I woke up to a cruel realization. My body wasn't the same. Getting up from the couch took effort. My knees groaned going up the stairs. And the idea of exercising, forget it. At first, I brushed it off. I told myself it's just stiffness, I'll walk it off. But it wasn't that simple. I used to enjoy morning walks, but suddenly, after just 10 minutes, my knees would start throbbing. I loved gardening, but after 15 minutes of bending and standing, my lower back felt like it had been through a battle. I even stopped playing with my grandkids on the floor because getting back up was embarrassing. And the worst part? It all happened so fast. One day I was fine. The next, I felt like I was aging at double speed. Then I heard something that shocked me. A doctor said, "The less you move, the more you lose." I was making my joints worse by avoiding movement. At first, I didn't understand. How could I move more if moving was what hurt me in the first place? That's when I started searching for answers. And what I found changed my life. The simple, scientifically proven solution. I discovered low-impact movement. Not just any movement, the right kind of movement. Because here's the truth. Our joints need motion to stay healthy, but not all exercise is good for aging joints. High-impact activities, like running or jumping, cause wear and tear. But low-impact movement, it keeps your joints lubricated, strengthens muscles, and reduces pain without damage. And science backs this up. Harvard Medical School confirms that low-impact exercises reduce stiffness and protect joints from arthritis progression. The Arthritis Foundation states that gentle strength training improves mobility and reduces pain. Studies show that activities like swimming, walking, and stretching lower inflammation and keep joints flexible. I was skeptical until I tried it, and within weeks I felt a difference. So what did I do? I'll share exactly what worked for me. Here are 5 things that worked for me. Number 1, water movement, the miracle exercise. The first thing I tried was water exercise. Why? Because water takes the pressure off your joints. In a pool, your body feels lighter, so you can move without pain. I didn't believe it at first, but I had a friend, Martha, who swore by it. She had struggled with arthritis for years, but when she started water aerobics, everything changed. She told me, try it just once, you'll see. So I did. At first I was nervous, but as soon as I stepped into the pool, I felt relief. I started with gentle walking in the shallow end, light arm circles underwater for mobility, simple leg lifts to strengthen my knees. And within 2 weeks, something incredible happened. I could move easier outside the pool too. My morning stiffness was less brutal, and for the first time in years, I felt hopeful. If you have access to a pool, try this. Even if you're a beginner, just moving in water can help. And if this sounds interesting so far, subscribe to this channel, because I share real, proven ways to stay active as we age. Number 2, the life-changing power of chair exercises. Next, I discovered something even easier, and you don't even need to stand up for it. Chair exercises. At first I thought, what difference could this make? But then I realized movement is movement. Even small movements help keep your joints flexible and pain-free. The best part, you can do these exercises anytime, anywhere. I started with seated leg lifts to strengthen my knees, arm circles to loosen stiff shoulders, seated marches to improve circulation. I only did this for 5 minutes a day, but soon I noticed my balance was improving. I could stand up from a chair without groaning. My energy was coming back, and the best part, no pain. One day, I met a man named Robert at a community center. He was 78 and had been doing chair exercises for over a year. He told me, I used to think exercise meant running or lifting weights, but now I know these small movements make all the difference. And he was right. If you sit a lot, try this. It's the easiest way to keep moving. Number 3, walking but smarter. We all know walking is one of the simplest and most effective forms of exercise. It's free, requires no special equipment, and keeps the body moving. But here's the problem. When you have joint pain, even a short walk can feel like a challenge. I used to think I had to push through long walks to stay fit, but every time I did, my knees would swell, and my lower back would ache for days. I almost gave up on walking altogether until I learned something surprising. The secret wasn't to stop walking. The secret was to walk smarter. Short, frequent walks instead of long walks. Instead of forcing myself to walk for 30 minutes straight, I broke it into 3 short 5-minute walks per day. Here's why this works. Less strain on joints. A short walk doesn't put as much stress on your knees and hips. More energy. I found that I didn't feel as exhausted afterward. Consistent movement. Instead of tiring myself out in one session, I stayed active throughout the day. At first, I just walked around my house, pacing while I talked on the phone, taking a few laps around the living room. Then, as I got stronger, I ventured outside, choosing soft surfaces. Another small change made a big difference. I started walking on softer surfaces. I used to walk on pavement, thinking it was the best option. But concrete is harsh on aging joints. Every step sends impact up through the knees and hips. Instead, I switched to walking on grass at the park, using a treadmill at the slowest setting, walking on a rubberized track at a local school. This simple shift reduced the impact on my joints, making walking feel easier and less painful. Wearing the right shoes. I also learned that shoes matter more than I thought. I used to wear regular sneakers until I realized they weren't supporting my feet properly. A specialist recommended shock-absorbing walking shoes with good arch support. The difference? Night and day. My knees no longer ached after a short walk, and my lower back felt better too. The results were amazing. After just 2 weeks of short, smart walks, I noticed less knee pain after walking, better balance and stability, more confidence in my ability to move without fear. If you think, I can't walk much anymore, try this method. It's not about walking long distances, it's about walking smart. And if you're still with me, hit the like button, because this next tip might be the most powerful one yet. Number 4, gentle stretching, the game changer. For years, I avoided stretching. I assumed it would make my joint pain worse. I thought, if I move the wrong way, I'll hurt myself even more. But then I learned something shocking. Gentle stretching doesn't cause more pain, it reduces it. Think about it. When we don't move, our muscles tighten, our joints stiffen, and over time, simple movements like bending down or turning our head start to feel difficult. That's exactly what happened to me. I realized my stiffness wasn't just old age, it was a lack of mobility. So I decided to give stretching a chance. But this time, I did it the right way, starting with simple, controlled movements. I didn't force anything. No deep bends, no extreme positions, just gentle, slow stretches designed for aging joints. Here's what I started with. Neck rolls. I gently moved my head in circles to relieve tension. Knee to chest stretch. I pulled one knee at a time toward my chest to loosen my lower back. Seated toe taps. While sitting, I tapped my toes up and down to wake up my leg muscles. Each stretch took less than 30 seconds. I did them every morning and before bed. The results were incredible. After just 1 week, I noticed less morning stiffness, better flexibility. Bending over wasn't as hard, fewer aches in my back and legs. Most importantly, I felt in control of my body again. If you've ever felt stiff, tight, or uncomfortable moving, try stretching. Even just 5 minutes a day can make a difference. And if this is making sense so far, subscribe to this channel, because the next tip changed my strength more than anything else. Number 5, strength training without heavy weights. One of the biggest mistakes I made was avoiding strength training. I assumed lifting weights was only for younger people. I thought, I don't need muscle, I just want to move better. But here's what I didn't realize. Weak muscles put more stress on joints. Stronger muscles support and protect the joints. You don't need heavy weights to build strength. I discovered that even light resistance exercises could help. Using resistance bands instead of weights. Instead of lifting dumbbells, I started with resistance bands. Why? Because resistance bands are gentle on joints, no heavy lifting required. Easy to control, less risk of injury. Just as effective for building strength. I started with simple movements. Seated leg raises, strengthened my thighs without standing. Seated pushes with a resistance band, built upper body strength. Mini squats, holding onto a chair for support, strengthened my knees. The surprising benefits. After a few weeks, I noticed my posture improved. I stood taller and felt more balanced. Less joint pain, my knees felt more stable. More energy, I didn't feel as tired throughout the day. The best part, it only took 5 minutes a day. If you think strength training is too much for you, try light resistance exercises. It's one of the best ways to keep your body strong without hurting your joints. My final thoughts. Movement is medicine. I used to be afraid of moving. I thought pain meant I should stop. But now I know the truth. Movement is what keeps me going. I'm 72 and I feel better than I did at 65. And if I can do this, so can you. Start small, start slow, but start. And if this helped you, hit like and subscribe. Not for me, but so more people can find hope. Because aging doesn't mean stopping. It means learning how to keep going.